I just want to get on here and address a couple people that's saying that I feel entitled, and when I said make it enough, that was y'all was saying that was me being entitled, and I think I should have this and have that. I want to address that to you slow motherfuckers in the back, because the real mothers already know what I'm talking about, but the slow motherfuckers that ain't got no grandmas for their kids.
The internet has survived some wild storms, but nothing prepared it for the nuclear meltdown that detonated the moment Karlissa found out Nevaeh was out here begging Blueface for backyard renovation money like he's running Home Depot on the side. This isn't drama. This is the kind of chaos that makes the Kardashians look like they host Sunday school. 1 minute the timeline was quiet, and the next it felt like someone opened a group chat from hell where receipts fly faster than common sense. And trust me, the energy was so toxic it could power an entire season of Zeus Network. Because the second Karlissa heard the request, she didn't just respond, she erupted. She let off a verbal earthquake with the magnitude of every argument she's ever had rolled into one. And Nevaeh. She stood there like someone who pressed the wrong button in a video game and accidentally summoned the final boss. Now everybody is trying to figure out whether this was a simple financial ask or a full-on attempt at career suicide. And the worst part? The leaked messages make it 10 times messy, eh? Buckle up. What you're about to hear is the kind of story that gets family group chats permanently deleted from the moment the leaked screenshots hit the timeline. The internet went from half asleep to wide awake like someone dumped espresso directly into its bloodstream. The messages weren't even subtle. Nevaeh didn't creep in with a polite request or a reasonable proposal. She came in bold, swinging for the financial fences, asking Blueface for backyard renovation money like she was pitching a Netflix reboot of Extreme Makeover, Hood Edition. She wasn't asking for lunch money, she was asking for a backyard facelift that sounded like it came with waterfalls, lit pathways, and maybe even a petting zoo. And Blueface, who already has the stress levels of someone juggling 10 lawsuits, 3 reality shows, and 15 family feuds, responded with the energy of someone who instantly regretted unlocking his phone that morning. But before he could even process the request, his mom Karlissa sniffed out the situation like she has a built-in radar for anyone trying to access her son's wallet. The moment Karlissa saw the messages, you could practically hear the universe whisper, "Oh no, here we go," because Karlissa doesn't operate in quiet. There is no whisper mode, no low volume setting, no calm discussion button. She reacts at the speed of scandal, the volume of a stadium speaker, and the dramatic flair of a reality TV queen who refuses to let the spotlight shift even for a moment. And in her mind, Nevaeh asking Blueface for money was basically an act of war. Not regular war, ancient, mythical war. Like she was reenacting a showdown between gods on Mount Olympus and someone dared to ask Zeus for a loan. What made the whole thing even crazier was the timing. Blueface's world is already a circus. And here comes Nevaeh strolling into the tent asking for funding like she's applying for a government grant. And she didn't even try to wrap it in a guilt trip or emotional breakdown. She just hit him with a clean, simple, confident "I need money to fix my backyard," as if Blueface sits around sketching landscaping plans between diss tracks. As if Karlissa wasn't lurking in the digital shadows ready to tear through anything that smelled like using my son. But Karlissa didn't just rant. She unleashed a monologue that could fuel 5 seasons of family therapy. She dragged the request, the motive, the audacity, the imagination, and the entire concept of backyard renovations as if they personally offended her. She made it sound like Nevaeh wasn't asking for new grass, she was asking for a golden throne and a moat. At one point, she even implied that Nevaeh probably didn't need a backyard. She needed boundaries. And that specific line lit social media on fire. People were quoting it like scripture. Memes started flying within minutes, including a photoshopped image of Nevaeh holding blueprints while Karlissa stood behind her like an angry landlord. Meanwhile, Blueface was somewhere in the digital universe pretending he didn't see any of this. He vanished faster than someone who owes rent. Every time people tagged him, they got silence. Not a sigh, not an emoji, not even a single misplaced period. The man turned into a ghost, and honestly, no one could blame him. Because the internet was already assembling a crime scene board trying to figure out how a backyard turned into a full-scale celebrity feud. And the screenshots were getting worse by the hour, each one revealing more attitude, more tension, and more reasons for Karlissa to keep escalating like she's auditioning for a villain role in a Marvel movie. But the real problem wasn't just the money. It was the symbolism. In Karlissa's world, anyone who asks Blueface for anything is instantly under suspicion. Money is oxygen, attention is currency, and access is power. And Nevaeh, intentionally or not, walked right into the battlefield with her hands open. For Karlissa, that wasn't a simple request. That was someone stomping through her territory like they were testing how far they could push. And the moment Nevaeh made that move, Karlissa's instincts kicked in like she was defending a family empire. People swear Karlissa would file a restraining order on a shadow if it got too close to her son's wallet. Once the leaked audio surfaced, yes. Because apparently this story needed extra seasoning, things spiraled into mayhem. You could hear Karlissa letting loose like a woman who waited her whole life for this argument. The tone was sharp enough to slice through concrete. She didn't just say Nevaeh was wrong. She described it like Nevaeh committed a national offense. She painted the backyard request as if it were part of a master plan to drain Blueface financially and emotionally. At one point, she even said, "Fix your own backyard before trying to fix your life using my child." And social media nearly collapsed from the shockwave. Nevaeh, on the other hand, tried to defend herself. She posted a long explanation saying it wasn't that deep, she wasn't begging, she wasn't using anyone, and the whole thing was blown way out of proportion. But by the time she said it, the narrative had already glued itself to her name. The comment sections were split like a courtroom audience. Half the people felt bad for her, saying Karlissa overreacted like always. The other half said Nevaeh knew exactly what she was doing and played herself by assuming Blueface was some community bank. And then came the influencers. Because every modern scandal needs 10 influencers to add fuel to the flames. TikTokers stitched the leaked audio, YouTubers made dramatic thumbnails, gossip pages posted polls asking who was right, and Twitter went viral with jokes. People started posting fake backyard renovation quotes like, "For only $18,999, we can install a chaos-resistant patio perfect for surviving Karlissa." Even celebrities chimed in because the mess was too loud to ignore. And the worst part? Every time a new person reacted, Karlissa reacted to them reacting, which created a reaction spiral so ridiculous that even Zeus Network producers were probably taking notes. But buried under all the noise was a very real tension, the long, messy, unfiltered relationship dynamics between Blueface, his mom, and every woman who steps within 10 feet of him. Karlissa has a history of turning any minor inconvenience into a great tragedy. Blueface has a habit of pretending he doesn't know any of these people when the drama gets too loud. And the women around him usually end up in public spats they never signed up for. Nevaeh walked into that world thinking this was just about landscaping. And she ended up in a storyline that feels like the season finale of a show she didn't realize she joined. And that's where the real story begins, not just with a backyard request gone wrong, but with what that request exposed. Because the internet wasn't just watching a fight. It was watching a power struggle, a territory battle, and a full-blown ego collision disguised as home improvement. The internet did what it always does best. It escalated the situation to levels so ridiculous even Hollywood screenwriters would say, "Okay, that's too much." Because as soon as Karlissa's voice note went viral, the memes started multiplying like rabbits on energy drinks. People took screenshots of Nevaeh's backyard and edited in everything from jungle animals to broken trampolines to abandoned shopping carts, claiming this was the renovation emergency she needed funding for. One meme even showed a torn-up lawn with the caption, "Blueface, please fix my backyard." The dinosaurs escaped. It was comedy gold for everyone except the two people actually involved. what really set the internet ablaze was when old clips resurfaced of Karlissa, accusing 5 different women of using her son. Within minutes, people created a tier list ranking the top 10 women Karlissa has verbally body slammed, and Nevaeh was already sitting competitively at number 3. And the craziest part, she wasn't even trying to compete. She woke up one morning, asked for a little yard money, and suddenly found herself being ranked like a UFC fighter on Instagram Explore pages. The whole situation spiraled so violently that even seasoned gossip bloggers were grabbing popcorn like it was the Super Bowl. But the plot twist nobody saw coming was when an anonymous source claimed that Nevaeh had actually asked Blueface for money before, not for a backyard, but for maintenance. The internet immediately turned into detectives. Screenshots were analyzed like FBI evidence. People acted like she was applying for a scholarship from Blueface University. And once that rumor spread, the narrative shape-shifted again. Some viewers started saying she was using Blueface as a human ATM. Others argued she was being reasonable considering their past connection. And then there were those who kept asking, what kind of backyard needs that much money? Is she building a stadium? Just as the conversation began drowning in theories, that's when the celebrities jumped in. And not the quiet ones, the loud, chaotic ones with nothing to lose. A mid-tier rapper tweeted, "Some of y'all using men like Uber Eats," and Karlissa retweeted it with 8 laughing emojis. That retweet alone created a shockwave across Twitter that made people pause mid-scroll. Then a reality TV star added fuel by posting, "Asking your ex for backyard money is wild, be serious." And that comment lit a fresh fire because it hinted at something deeper: the status of Nevaeh and Blueface's relationship. Suddenly, the backyard wasn't the plot anymore. It was the symbol of something much messier. Meanwhile, TikTok went into creative overdrive. Thousands of users recreated dramatic reenactments of the argument using text-to-speech voices, pretending to be Karlissa yelling into the void. Some even built miniature backyards using Legos and narrated the whole saga like a National Geographic documentary. One creator set up Barbie dolls to mimic the fight, adding captions like, "This is what happens when you ask the wrong mom for renovation funds," within hours. The reenactments gained millions of views and flooded every For You page in existence. But the internet wasn't satisfied with comedy. It wanted backstory. It wanted lore. It wanted a 10-season universe. So people dug deeper, pulling up every interaction Karlissa and Nevaeh ever had. Ancient comments resurfaced. Old posts were re-examined like archaeological discoveries. Someone even uploaded a compilation called Karlissa vs. Women, a historical timeline, and the video hit viral status overnight. And through all this madness, Blueface's silence became another scandal on its own. Fans kept demanding his response, but he remained unbothered, posting gym selfies and cryptic emojis as if the world wasn't burning around him. Then came the conspiracy theories. Because no modern scandal is complete without a fanbase turning into investigative journalists with questionable credibility. Some people believed Nevaeh asked for money as a test to see if Blueface still cared. Others said Karlissa overreacted because she felt threatened. A third group claimed the whole thing was a setup orchestrated by a rival to make them all look foolish. And then there were the ones who said Nevaeh's backyard was fine and she only asked for money to trigger Karlissa. None of these theories were proven, but that didn't stop thousands of users from passionately debating them as if they were defending dissertations. But things really took a wild turn when a leaked text thread appeared, showing someone claiming that Nevaeh only needed the backyard fixed because her landlord was threatening to evict her for having a safety hazard. Whether the threat was real or not, people went wild with the information. Some said Nevaeh was just trying to keep a roof over her head. Others accused her of hiding the truth to manipulate sympathy. And Karlissa responded indirectly by posting a cryptic message: "If fixing a backyard saves your life, you need a new environment. Not my son's money." That line went viral instantly and was screenshotted into motivational memes. Meanwhile, YouTubers and bloggers jumped on the wave, pushing the story deeper into madness. Thumbnails showed exaggerated expressions, fake quotes, and dramatic fire emojis. Titles like "The Backyard Scandal Exposed" and "Blueface Used Again" exploded in recommendations. Even creators who had nothing to do with hip-hop commentary started weighing in because the views were tempting to ignore. Every time someone dropped a new video, another rumor emerged. Every rumor brought another reaction. Every reaction triggered Karlissa, who reacted harder and louder than anyone else. Then came the unexpected twist. Someone leaked an aerial view of Nevaeh's backyard, and it went viral instantly. The picture showed uneven ground, broken fencing, weeds tall enough to block Wi-Fi signals, and what looked like an inflatable pool that gave up on life. The internet erupted. Some said it looked like a battlefield. Others said it resembled a level from a survival horror game. One person wrote, "Is this the backyard or a Jurassic Park set?" The memes reached historic levels of disrespect, but that leak also triggered a serious debate. Some people argued that the backyard looked dangerous, saying she might have needed the money for safety reasons. Others said it made her look irresponsible for letting it get that bad. And in the middle of the debate, Karlissa posted another cryptic line, "If you can't maintain your backyard, you can't maintain your life." That quote hit the internet like a biblical verse. People started using it for everything, from messy rooms to failed relationships. Then, to make things even more explosive, an influencer who claimed to be friends with Nevaeh went live and spilled alleged behind-the-scenes details. She claimed Nevaeh didn't beg Blueface for money. She simply asked out of frustration because she'd been dealing with financial stress. The influencer added that Nevaeh thought Blueface might help because he once promised he'd look out. But before her lip ended, she slipped and said, Nevaeh didn't expect Karlissa to see the message. That single sentence rolled through the internet like a grenade, because now the question shifted. If Nevaeh didn't expect Karlissa to see it, how did she see it? Did Blueface show her? Did she sneak into his phone? Did someone leak it? New conspiracy theories spawned immediately. Some believed Karlissa checks Blueface's messages. Others accused Blueface of sending the screenshots to stir drama. Another group said Karlissa hacked something. The curiosity grew so wild that the question became its own trending hashtag. Hashtag who sent Karlissa the receipts, and yet, through all this chaos, one thing became clear. The backyard was never the real story. It was the spark that exposed deeper tensions, unresolved conflicts, and the never-ending battle for control in Blueface's orbit. The internet wasn't just watching drama. It was watching a collision of personalities so explosive it made reality TV look like meditation class. As the dust settled well. As much as dust can settle in a digital hurricane, the aftermath of the Backyard saga revealed itself like a season finale twist nobody was emotionally stable enough to handle. Once the arguments, memes, leaks, and reaction videos reached saturation, people started looking at the long-term consequences. And it didn't take long to see the ripple effects crashing through every corner of Blueface's already chaotic universe. Because this situation didn't just make noise, it rearranged relationships, reputations, alliances, and even public perception in ways that felt almost cinematic. The kind of aftermath that makes you sit back and wonder how a single backyard could expose this many cracks in the foundation. Nevaeh's image took the first hit, and it was a heavy one. Overnight, she went from being a relatively quiet presence in the background to becoming the central character in a scandal she never intended to star in. Her comments were flooded with advice, insults, jokes, and unsolicited opinions from people who suddenly believed they knew every detail of her financial life. Some people defended her, calling the whole thing overblown and empathizing with the idea of needing help. But others dragged her mercilessly, turning her into a running punchline about backyard budgets and financial acrobatics. Her name became a trending topic she didn't ask for. And social media made sure she couldn't escape it even if she tried. Meanwhile, Karlissa's reputation went through its usual transformation cycle of bizarre mix of villain, icon, menace, comedian, and chaos engine. Half the internet praised her for protecting her son, calling her no-nonsense mom who doesn't let anyone take advantage of her family. The other half called her the Black Air Force Queen of Instigation, accusing her of turning every minor issue into a courtroom drama. But regardless of which side people stood on, one thing was certain: Karlissa's voice dominated the conversation. She controlled the narrative, she controlled the energy, and she reminded the world once again that she is, without a doubt, the CEO of Overreaction Incorporated. But the real surprising twist was Blueface. His silence, his cryptic posts, his refusal to address the chaos directly, it all created a mystery that only added fuel to the fire. Fans kept asking the same question: was he embarrassed? Was he avoiding conflict? Or was he secretly the mastermind behind the leak? And because humans love drama more than they love logic, people began weaving complicated theories, painting him as everything from a strategic genius to an exhausted man desperate for peace. In reality, he was probably scrolling through memes like everyone else, pretending none of this had anything to do with him. But the mystery only made things more dramatic, and fans treated his silence like another plot point in the franchise. The relationship dynamics shifted in subtle ways too. Suddenly, anyone connected to Blueface became cautious about asking him for anything. Influencers joked about sending him money instead, just to avoid becoming the next headline. Even old acquaintances resurfaced to drop their opinions, claiming they saw this coming or knew the vibes were off. And as ridiculous as it sounds, the scandal made everyone hyper-aware of the financial boundaries in their own lives. People started tweeting things like, "This is why I never ask anyone for a dime," or "If my backyard starts falling apart, I'm keeping it quiet." The situation became a cautionary tale of what happens when private requests get dragged into public chaos. But the internet wasn't done extracting entertainment from the saga. Compilation channels began uploading Backyard Gate timelines, documenting every meme clip, reaction, leak, and cryptic post from start to finish. Commentators started predicting future chapters because a story this messy never ends neatly. TikTok creators made follow-up theories analyzing every word Karlissa said, treating her like a mythical oracle whose quotes needed translation. Even comedians joined the conversation, posting skits that parodied the situation with exaggerated characters and fake backyard renovations gone wrong. The aftermath was louder than the initial fight, and it proved just how much the public feeds on celebrity turbulence. In the midst of everything, Nevaeh tried to clean up her image. She dropped a lengthy statement explaining her side, insisting the request wasn't as dramatic as people were making it. She said she wasn't begging, she wasn't manipulating, and she wasn't trying to use Blueface. But the internet rarely accepts explanations once memes take control, so her statement was met with mixed reactions. Some believed her, others said she was backtracking, and a few people argued she shouldn't have explained anything at all because it only kept the fire burning. Every word she posted became overanalyzed, screen-recorded, and reposted by people searching for hidden motives. Then there was the unexpected, the emotional fallout. Whether intentional or not, the drama exposed the fragile, unstable bonds within Blueface's circle. The constant tension between his mother and anyone who gets close to him became even more obvious. The public saw the cracks. They saw the resentment, the distrust, the lingering bitterness from past conflicts. And once people noticed it, they couldn't unsee it. The backyard scandal became a metaphor for the messy foundations of his interpersonal relationships. People joke that they don't need renovation, they need reconstruction. Not in grass and fences, but in communication, boundaries, and emotional maturity. But of course, because this story refuses to be normal. The final twist came when another rumor surfaced claiming that someone close to Blueface had filmed a vlog discussing the situation privately. Whether true or not, the rumor reignited interest. People started anticipating a part 2, like this was an ongoing series instead of real-life chaos. And honestly, with this family, it might as well be. Every argument feels like the setup for another dramatic explosion. Every misunderstanding evolves into content. Every leak becomes a storyline. It's chaos with a sequel guaranteed. By the end of the week, the saga had generated so many layers of conversation that people were confused about what the original issue even was. Was it the money? Was it the disrespect? Was it the leak? Was it the backstory? Or was it just another installment in the never-ending saga known as the Blueface cinematic universe? The truth is, it was all of it. The drama became bigger than the backyard. It became a symbol of the unpredictable, explosive world. These people live in a world where small requests become scandals, private conversations become public warfare, and every character plays their role with maximum volume. In the end, Nevaeh learned a lesson the hard way. In this universe, nothing stays private, nothing stays small, and nothing stays calm. Karlissa walks into every situation ready for battle. Blueface operates like a man used to chaos, and everyone around them ends up in the splash zone whether they meant to be there or not. The backyard might eventually get fixed. The grass might grow back. The fences might be replaced. But the drama, that never ends. And the internet knows it. That's why, even after the smoke clears, everyone is standing around waiting. Because with a family this unpredictable, the next explosion is never far away. And if you made it all the way through this digital demolition derby, congratulations, you officially survived another episode in the never-ending Blueface universe, where every argument becomes a saga, every DM becomes a plot twist, and every backyard somehow becomes a national emergency. But don't get too comfortable, because if there's one thing we've learned from this chaos, it's that the next scandal is probably already brewing. Someone's posting a cryptic quote right now. Someone else is subtweeting. And somewhere in Los Angeles, Karlissa is warming up her vocal cords for the next explosive chapter. So before the timeline gets messy again, do yourself a favor. Smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit subscribe like you're trying to avoid being dragged into the next family group chat. And drop a comment telling me whose side you're on, Team Backyard Budget or Team Stay Out of My Son's Wallet. And don't pretend you're innocent. I know you've got an opinion. Everyone watching this circus always does. And remember, this channel doesn't sleep. The scandals don't pause. The receipts never stop printing. Every time someone in this universe sneezes, we're here to break it down with sarcasm sharp enough to cut through concrete. Because this isn't just commentary, this is Celeb Sync, the one place where celebrity chaos gets dissected like a science project nobody asked for. So buckle up, stay tuned, and keep your notifications on tight. Because the drama in this universe doesn't end, it regenerates. And when it does, you already know where the next chapter drops first. Celeb SYNC, where the mess never rests. Where the mess never rests.